Today I'm going to show you the top 3 joints to mobilize. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? It's Blake Bowman here with GuerrillaZen Fitness, and in today's video what I'm going to be talking about are the top 3 most important joints to mobilize, right? These are very important. You need to keep mobility in these joints, and they're the most important, more important than other joints, okay? So let's get into it. Before I start this video, I want to make a really quick list here because I know some of you are ADD and you want to just get right to the info. The 3 most important joints that we want to mobilize are the ankles, okay, the hip, and the thoracic spine, the upper back. So once again, the ankles, the hips, and the upper back. So what I intend on doing in this video is quickly going over those 3 areas and explaining to you why those are the 3 most important areas to keep mobile. And then I'm going to show you some quick mobilizations that you can actually implement right away that will bring more mobility to those areas. Okay, starting with the ankle. The ankle is a very important joint to keep mobile because, first of all, most people are missing mobility there. It's a very common issue. And if you're missing mobility, specifically with regards to dorsiflex your foot. So this is your foot and this is your shin. If you are missing range of motion this way, so you're having trouble pulling your toes up towards the shin bone, that can create huge problems all the way up the kinetic chain, okay? From the foot and ankle all the way up to the knee, the hip, so on and so forth. Basically, when you're missing dorsiflexion like that, you're missing mobility, your body develops extra mobility in the knee, and then the knee becomes unstable and predisposed to injury, okay? This can happen all the way up the body, okay? I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but I want you to know this is a very common issue. Why? Because a lot of us are, instead of in a dorsiflex position or even a neutral position, we're in a plantar flex position all the time, and our calf muscles get short because of that. So if you're somebody that wears high heels, plantar flexion, big time shortening of the gastrocnemius, soleus muscles, calf muscles, basically. That's going to restrict your mobility. Even if you just wear normal tennis shoes, those have an elevated heel that plantar flexes your foot slightly and causes there to be a decrease in the range of motion of your ankle. Even if you're somebody that wears minimalist shoes and your foot is in a neutral position, unless you're actively dorsiflexing the foot a lot, you're probably going to lose mobility there, and this is a huge contributor to knee pain, back pain, a lot of different things, and it's very, very common. So coming up to the hips, you know, the hips need that mobility as well. They're pretty much the core of your body, right? Everybody calls your abdominal muscles your core, but if you actually look at what's in the very center of your body that connects your torso to your lower body, it's your hips, right? Degenerative hip pain is something that's extremely common. Hip replacement surgery is extremely common. Fractured hips are extremely common, especially in older people, but these things begin when you're very young, in your 20s and your teenage years, right? So keeping optimal mobility in your hips can help protect them. It can help activate the glutes, and it can help protect the lower back too. So that's another just very imperative area that you need to keep mobile. The last area that we're talking about today is the thoracic spine, the upper back. That's basically the segment of your spine from the base of your neck down to your like rib cage right here, but imagine that like on my back here. So it's your upper back, okay? Now this is another area that becomes stiff in the majority of the population, especially people that are working at desks. And the reason for that is if you sit at a desk and you're in kyphosis, you know, your upper back's rounded and you're just kind of working like this all day and you're not moving, just the lack of motion in the upper back alone is going to produce mobility problems there. And then similar to what's happening at the knee, when the ankle becomes stiff, when the upper back becomes stiff, your body starts to compensate. It starts to develop extra mobility in the cervical spine, the neck, and the lower back. And then those areas become predisposed to injury. Okay, same with the shoulders. When the thoracic spine is stiff and it can't rotate, it can't bend and flex and extend, the shoulders basically rest right on top of the thoracic spine. If your thoracic spine is not mobile, your shoulders can't move correctly, and you're going to develop, you know, pathologies, problems in your shoulders just as a result of the upper back. As a general rule of thumb, whenever I'm working with somebody that has shoulder issues, one of the first places I go to is their upper back, not their shoulders themselves, because it's usually the upper back that is contributing to this. Same with lower back pain and neck pain, okay? That's the rationale behind why these are the 3 most important joints to mobilize. Now I'm going to show you a quick mobilization that you can do for each of them. Okay, so the first mobilization for the ankles, you can do this against a wall if it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier to cue yourself how to do this properly on a wall, but you can also just do it in open space like this. And it looks kind of weird, but basically this is how it's done. You stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, and you squat down and let your knees go in front of your toes, and you come back up. So this is the exact opposite way that you want to be doing a weighted squat or something like that, but this is actually a great mobilization slash activation for the ankles. This motion here, okay, remember motion is lotion. This is actually going to mobilize the ankle, and by doing this in a dynamic fashion like this, we're actually activating the front of the shin muscles too, and helping to train the muscles of the lower leg to keep your foot in a dorsiflex position and to function better there. So this will give you more mobility and control at the same time. Okay, it's a great exercise. It's probably one of my favorite ankle mobilizations to do now. That being said, you should probably do this against the wall, right? You put your heels against the wall, put your back against the wall, make sure your whole back stays against the wall, and you just slide down the wall with your back, keeping your back in contact with the wall. The wall is over there, and I didn't really feel like going over there to film this, okay? So that's basically a great ankle mobilization and activation. Here are some glute ones that are gonna help you out most likely. This one is just a glute activation with hip flexor stretch. Get in this position, squeeze the glute on the side of the body that has the down knee. Okay, squeeze that glute as you push your hips forward and then come back. Push the hips forward, squeezing that glute, come back. Okay, just like this. You're gonna do a couple reps. Keep that pelvis neutral. Don't let the lower back arch. You'll accomplish that by squeezing the glute really hard and squeezing the core really hard. You're gonna do about 10 or so reps on that each side. And then another one you could do for the hips, which is gonna improve internal rotation. I've showed this in my past videos. Get into a deep squat position like this. Pull the toes up. Drop the knee down. Okay, just like this. You're gonna do this about 10 times each side. If this hurts your knee, just don't do it. But this is another great one, okay? Now the last area that I wanted to show you a quick mobilization for is the thoracic spine, the upper back. So I've showed a lot in the past using a foam roller, which is probably the best way to mobilize the thoracic spine, is using a foam roller to produce motion there. But I wanted to show a version that didn't require a foam roller for those of you that don't have one handy. This is another great way to do it. So you can do basically two things. A couple rounds of modified cat-cow, which is basically just rounding the upper back and then extending it and kind of giving more of a focus to the upper back, the area between the shoulder blades, than you do to the lower back, although you're gonna move throughout the entire spine here naturally. Really just try to emphasize moving from the upper back, okay? You can do about 15 to 20 of those, and then we just worked the ability for you to extend and flex from the thoracic spine, which is good, but now we gotta work on the ability to twist there, because we've only given you one aspect of mobility, flexion and extension. Now we gotta work on the rotation. This is another pretty simple one. Start in this quadruped position, hands and knees. You're just gonna lift up on one side, try to achieve like a vertical line with your arm, and you're gonna come back down, and they call this in yoga, thread the needle. So you're gonna put your arm down here and try to like touch your cheek to the floor, okay? So you're rotating your spine to the right now, and then you're gonna come back up and do the left side, okay? Keep your core really, really tight the whole time while you perform this, because that will restrict motion at your lumbar spine, your lower back, and stop that from moving so that your upper back can move a little bit more, which is what we want. And you wanna make sure to obviously do this on both sides, okay? Keep your core tight the whole time. Try to mitigate rotation that's occurring at the lower back, because that's not where we want to be rotating. We want to be rotating from the upper back. Squeezing the core will help you to accomplish that. There you have it. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope you got a lot of value from it. If you like this, don't forget to hit that like button down below. Also hit that subscribe button right next to GuerrillaZen Fitness. Lastly, if you really enjoyed this and you want to take it a step further, then what you need to get is my 3-day functional training split. Basically what this is, it's a workout designed to help you either improve your strength, or help you lose fat while promoting muscular balance, optimal joint mobility, and things like that. It's basically a 3-day exercise split that you can just put into your normal plan that focuses on those things with corrective exercises integrated into it, okay? It's pretty awesome and it's free to get. You can get it on my website. There's a link to it in the description down below or the comment section. I'll pin it there. Basically just click that. What that will do is it'll take you to my website. I'll ask you for your email. As soon as you enter in your email, I'll send you the workout within 5 minutes. If you're looking for another place to get to my website, you can also click this link over here. That will take you to the same spot. And if you're looking for another place to subscribe, you can click this link right here. That will subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, you can click this over here. That's it for today. I'll see you next time.